Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brass, and this is going to be the last video of the series, and it's going to basically summarize Bushnell and Hodge, and leave with a pretty good note. To summarize on them, Hodge appeared to believe in racial equality almost in spite of himself. In his first major article on slavery, he found himself in the position of defending the possible establishment of an integrated, biracial, egalitarian society in the United States, even though he personally found such a social arrangement unlikely and even unattractive. Bushnell adhered to rigid social categories in spite of himself. These unyielding categories became a burden to him, yet he could not let them go. Once Bushnell had built up a structure of assumptions, theories, and predictions about certain races, he could not easily disassemble it. They both left a legacy. Hodge's nephew, J. Aspinwall Hodge, defended African decolonization, which he no doubt was inspired by Hodge's own commitment to that, even though it wasn't as strong. A better thing to remember Hodge for is that his belief in the unity of humankind set limits on the importance of being loyal to one's race, which inspired abolitionists. While it is partly true that a black person would have a better friend in Bushnell than Hodge, not all of Hodge's relationships with blacks was bad. A former slave turned advocate for black people's rights named Francis Grimmock traveled to the North and attended multiple universities and found his way to Princeton Theological Seminary in 1875, and Hodge in his elderly years was friendly to him in Princeton, and Francis said it was an overall welcoming environment at Princeton. Francis would preach to fellow blacks to better themselves in all ways and to work hard. Princeton's legacy of believing in the essential unity of the human species was something that Hodge and Francis believed in. Horace Bushnell's legacy is in the social gospel movement of the late 19th and early 20th century, which taught to end social injustice through redeeming individuals and social institutions. His beliefs that human society is a web of organically connected institutions where human action has far-reaching consequences within the web came through it. Unfortunately, his racial pessimism also transferred to it as well. It meshed well with belief in social Darwinism, even if Bushnell himself criticized Darwinism for being atheistic and materialist. The social gospel movement didn't agree with his take on Darwin and in fact embraced it as so-called justification for their beliefs. What can be learned from these two is that there can be dangers in many methodological orientations, and that while many people may come to a right conclusion, their methods of coming to that conclusion can be suspect. Hodge's method made him see slavery through a lens of abstract principles rather than that of real human experience. Bushnell's made him too open-minded to ideas with few boundaries as he should have. He lacked an objective standard to challenge bigotry as he just appealed to the emotional experience of people. It made blacks have to prove their humanity through appealing to a racist emotions. As can be said, feminist, liberation theologians, ecologists, and others commonly affirm the connectedness of the human family. While the use of this metaphor is certainly valid, Bushnell's example admonishes us to use it carefully, to be aware of what the connections are, to consider what kind of central assumptions go into the construction of any particular model of human solidarity. Hodge's approach, which no doubt had its problems, it did draw a line in the sand, and the dogmatism of said standard could go against many of the bigotries of the day, even if it didn't address all of them. As the book recommends, Christians should have a method that has an objective standard that goes behind human subjective judgment, while at the same time not dismissing it. So I hope you enjoyed the series. This is Mr. Brass saying goodbye and get wise.